Good morning, everyone. I don't know who is awake, who can hear me, but my name is Monica Griego. I am the administrator of this website, and I continue to post everything I can post to try to help parents across the United States with their cases in hopes that more parents will come forward and exercise their rights, use the Constitution, and show these actors, because these are not judges, these are actors, that the Constitution does exist, it is valid, and we, the people, are here to use it until they recognize that our children belong to us. They do not belong to the courts, they do not belong to the system, they do not belong to America or Hollywood or anyone else. Okay? Right now the world is very concerned about Hayden Panettiere's death and how it happened. Okay, so I just want to say something. We can feel sorry for these Hollywood stars all we want, but they have money, they have homes, they have power. Something we don't have, because right now we're fighting. We are really fighting with everything we've got for our children, including me. Okay, so let's update you about what's happened since 2020. Okay, so in 2020, actually 2019, my mother-in-law, Irene Griego, she got the kids, she got my daughters, because I helped her pass the home study. I went to her apartment and I helped her clean it, organize it. I told her, look, okay, you want the kids, you want to be a part of our lives, so you're going to have to do something very difficult. And that means you're going to have to show them that you don't have a problem with clutter, even if you do. So we did that, okay? I helped her organize her living room to make it what they considered safe. I helped her organize the bedrooms, the kitchen. There was only one thing I didn't get to do, which was put a tablecloth on her table to make her table look presentable. It still happened. She still got my kids, okay? This woman, their grandmother, someone who covered up Holly's shaken baby syndrome, that everybody wants me to forget about. CYFD wants me to forget what happened to Holly. Like it didn't ever happen. Like she's never living with it. Like she's still not living with it. I can't just forget what happened to my daughter, because I watched her suffer. I watched her struggle to communicate. She's still struggling to communicate. She's still struggling in school. She's being passed the same way I was being passed in high school. And almost 99% of the people in America are being passed. I'm not going to say that a lot of us are not smart. We're not intelligent. We are. But a lot of us are being passed by the system. These are not real teachers. They're not really teaching our kids. They are predators. They're watching abuse happen. Albuquerque Public Schools watched Mark for a whole week keep Holly at home and sexually abuse her while he sent Esmeralda to school. And then he did it to Esmeralda. He kept Esmeralda home from school during COVID, and he sexually abused her, and he sent Holly to school. And there was never no doctor reports that they had COVID during those weeks. CYFD knew about it. The courts knew about it, okay? The judge, if you want to call her a judge, I don't think she's a judge. I don't see her as a judge. Doesn't matter if it's Democrat or Republican or independent. She's not a judge because she does not follow the Constitution. She does not have Esmeralda's best interests at heart. Because why? She silenced Esmeralda's truth on my YouTube channel. Because it's easier to silence a child. You don't want to hear the truth from a child, do you? Because that's what America does. They silence the child. They silence children. They silence adults. So, 2020 came. My father passed away in July of 2020. I had to fight UNM Hospital to see my own father before he died. And they gave him the same drugs that they gave Michael Jackson before he died. And if I wouldn't have went to find my dad the way I did, I told him, I said, remove this stuff. He doesn't need it. He's dying. My Aunt Jessica Treviso, whatever she wants to go by, she should be arrested right now. She should be in prison for killing my dad and admitting to it. And threatening me, telling me you're going to call CYFD on me. Do what you want to do, lady. But that's not going to stop me from getting justice for my dad. You killed my dad. You had 2 life insurance policies. And the life insurance companies that refused to contact me, refused to make things right with me and my brothers. It doesn't matter if my brothers don't want to be involved. They don't have to be involved. They don't have to care. They don't have to get any justice for our dad and show any kind of respect. You know, they can sit there and be like, oh, you know, he didn't do this for me. He didn't do that for me. He didn't do it for me either. But he did the best he could do for what he had, for what he was raised off of. I mean, he had other brothers and sisters that were obviously more important. And of course, you know, our grandma, our mothers, they do the best that they can do with what they have. Now, 2020 came. And then after my dad died, October of 2020, my mother-in-law, Irene Griego, died. That's a coincidence because I served the cease and desist notice to CYFD's officials, Dennis Drucker, Susan Burgess Farrell, Donna and Frank Payne, Amanda Veraca, Carrie Robinson, to name a few. And we did that with the hard work of Martin Lynch. Martin Lynch helped. It really did help. So thank you, Martin Lynch. My mother-in-law had an alcohol problem. We know that now. And CYFD and their caseworkers have tried their best to say that I have an alcohol problem because of alcoholism in my family. That doesn't make me an alcoholic. You don't have to like me. You don't have to like where I came from. But I'm not an alcoholic. I am a good person. I am a mother trying to get her daughters back home. With or without money. And the money that Social Security recently gave me, that's not back pay money. You know that. We all know that. That's money partially to try to cover me up, to try to cover my mouth, silence me somehow, thinking that because you gave me just a little bit of a pinch of what you really owe me, that I'm going to close my mouth, stop talking about CYFD, stop talking about the case, and you're going to be able to get away with murder the way you've been. New Mexico has been getting away with murder for decades. We are tired, but we are still here. And we're still fighting for our rights as parents. And we're still fighting for our children. I want my daughters to know, as much as it looks like it, I'm not just sitting down and shutting up. I'm not just doing what the government wants me to do. I'm telling the truth, even if they don't want to hear it. Whether my hair's blonde, whether it's brown, whether it's black, whether it's red, whatever color it is, I'm still here. So let's go back to the topics, okay? So 2021, we were going to family therapy. I told CYFD family therapy would not help us because Mark's mother passed away. My father passed away. And we needed our family reunified. We needed our family together. Therapy isn't going to help you when you have grief. When you've been away from your children for so long, it's not going to help you. But we went anyway. They used family therapy to destroy our family, like they do to so many families out there. These corporations, these organizations, these restaurants even. Restaurants like Wendy's. Everybody's criticizing me, telling me, no, we didn't help Wendy's get closed down. No, we didn't, okay? You're right, we didn't do that. But I will tell you something. The more you talk about something, the more it becomes the truth and becomes real and happens. Because your speech, your language is your power. So that's what I try teaching my daughters, is that the more you speak up about what's really going on, the more powerful you'll become. And Esmeralda, you know that by now. You know how powerful you are. That's why they took Holly away from you, so that you couldn't teach Holly nothing important. But Holly is out there learning somewhere. Whether it's at CYFD's offices, like I think she's still there. Your mouth is your power. So keep speaking up. 2021, let's see, July 28th, 2021, I decided to leave Mark because he admitted to sexually abusing Esmeralda. And CYFD didn't care about it. My attorney didn't care about it. Marianne Archangelis, my attorney, she did not zealously advocate for me in my case. In fact, after the case was closed, August 18th, 2023, I went to Social Security. I showed them that document. They said it was a fraudulent document. But did they stop CYFD from doing what they're doing? No, they didn't. They didn't return my kids to me. They didn't force CYFD to do nothing. They continued with their evilness, like they're doing right now. Giving me just a pinch of money because they think they're going to get me to kill myself or to cause my own death, like they did to my brother Anthony. You don't give someone $25,000, just enough to kill themselves or get killed by a drug dealer. That's what happened. Right when I was going to expose and get him live on Marianne Petrie's Slam the Gavel podcast, all of a sudden he ends up dead. That wasn't a coincidence. It didn't just happen. Things like that don't just happen. They just didn't want to hear the truth from Anthony himself. They didn't want to give him a chance to speak. That's why they told my cousin Anna Marie Cisneros that, well, we didn't kill him. We found him like that. You didn't find him like that. You killed him. Or you paid that guy to kill him. Because you didn't want him to speak the truth about how much he suffered at Memorial Hospital before it was transferred and created into Hotel Park Central, whatever you're going to call it. Okay, so 2022, Mark's and my old neighbor made reports to CYFD about the girls being left home alone at 2 in the morning while Mark left, probably to go do drugs, because the evidence was on the phone that I turned into the police, and I'm pretty sure they never did nothing about it. I still have the screenshots. I still have all the evidence. Even if the police don't do nothing about it, I still have it all. The girls were flooding the apartment. That's how much CYFD cares about children being safe. My daughters were flooding the apartment because they needed a bath. And I couldn't go and bathe my kids because an agency decides to make rules on what I can and can't do for my own daughters. This is the America we're living in. This is why I call it Socialist America. It's not America anymore, guys. It's not. You're voting for nothing. That's why I keep telling people, certify your vote. Use your right thumbprint. Buy a red ink stamp pad and certify your vote so that the Democrats cannot change it. They can't cheat. Stop the cheating by certifying your vote. And post a public notice on Facebook so they can't cheat. 2023, July 19, 2023. They closed my case all of a sudden. They lied to Marie Catherine Ward, the judge, and they told her that I had stable housing even though they knew that I was getting evicted. And that month that I got evicted, I paid $4,000 to Union 505 apartments. And they said that under COVID rules we were not going to be evicted. But we were. And that month I was watching a podcast of I forgot the guy's name, but he's in California, he's an attorney, and he was talking about how, or I think the lady that was on his show was talking about how CYFD makes people lose their apartments, their jobs, their marriage, everything. They're a complete evil system. And then all of a sudden, there it goes. Lost my apartment. And I was doing good. I was paying the rent. I already had lost this tooth right here. Thanks to Judge Ward paying a homeless guy to beat me up and assault me and almost kill me. And I had to go back in time and think about how I survived when my brother Leroy beat me up, cut my eye up here. I have the scars somewhere up there. Yeah. I've been through a lot. A lot of us have. But 2024 came. CYFD calls me and tells me that they find Holly in the streets. But, oh, she's safe now. She's not safe if she's in the streets, you idiots. She is not safe. Return her back to me. No, of course not. Because they need more money. They're so evil and greedy, they need more money for my daughter. So they give it back to Mark. March 3rd, 2025. We go to a meeting with Isaac Casas, the same person that's supposed to not be on our case, not be involved in our life anymore. But yeah, he still is. And he's sitting there with everybody on Zoom, and Mark is recording because Susan Burgess Farrell probably told him to. I took notes. They took my journal. They took everything from me, like they keep doing. They even did it at the shelter because they didn't want me to keep track of nothing at the shelter either. It scared them. Oh, it scared them. They didn't want to lose their job for not doing their job, for being corrupt. The security guards, the people working at the shelter. In 2026, we're here, and it's still the same thing. Esmeralda is not seeing a doctor for a well-child checkup, and supposedly, according to CYFD, that's okay. That is not okay. Esmeralda, here's my message to you, baby girl. I want you to go, to run away from that house that you're at. And I want you to go and ask somebody to call 911, and I want them to take you to a hospital to get checked. Because I know you're with a bunch of creeps. That's why they won't take you to the doctor. Because they've already collected enough money. They don't want to stop collecting money for you, Esmeralda. So if you're sick, and you know you're sick, and you haven't seen a doctor anyway, in 4 years, you haven't went to school. Holly hasn't went to school. You both need to go to school, and you need to go to the doctor. And you need to both see a counselor. Even if Holly has communication problems, it needs to happen. There's so much that needs to happen that's not happening. And that's because CYFD does not want to contact me and work with me, the mother. Because they even said it in their own laws, that the problem is mainly with mother. So if we're sitting here talking about Hayden Panettiere and her custody battles, let's talk about that. The problem is mainly with the mother. They had problems with that mother as well. She had money, she had power, and she still had problems. So it doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. You're still going to have problems with being a mother in this system. So stop living in fear. Get up. Face this system. File a notice to rescind any contract you have with CPS. Stop going to their courts, because all you're doing is wasting time. Your mental health is declining by attending those courts because they're making fun of you. Don't make deals with the devil. When you go to those courts, that's what you're doing. You're agreeing to making deals with the devil. You're telling them that they have the power over your life. And they don't. We the people created America. And we the people are going to make America great again. One step at a time, one person at a time. But it takes a village. We all have to gather. We all have to do it. We all have to get online and talk about it. As much and as heartbreaking and tiring as it is, we have to do it. We can't be afraid to speak. Like, I know a lot of people are looking at me like, oh, Monica, your hair doesn't look right? It doesn't look proper. It's not curled today, or whatever it is, right? But I'm still here, still talking about my daughters and the justice that they deserve. The justice my father deserves. The justice that I deserve. justice that we all deserve as mothers, as children. Our children deserve justice. We deserve to raise our children the way we want, not the way CYFD wants, or CPS, whatever they want to call themselves, because they have so many names. DCFS, DCS, whatever they want to call themselves, but we know they're a racketeering enterprise. Because you don't create that many names, that many laws, rules, and then you don't follow none of them. And then you're asking the government to fund you. You're asking the federal government to fund you. And then you're telling parents like me that I can't show up at your front door to visit with my daughter, Holly, knowing that she's locked up at your office, and knowing that Teresa Casados is a big liar. She's lying when she's telling you that there's no children locked up at CYFD. Why don't we call the FBI and have the FBI actually go with the state police, and why don't we have those cameras live on TV the whole entire time and do a complete and full live investigation in every single CYFD office and show the public that there is not one child there locked up in the whole entire building. And that means you don't go and you don't take the kids out and take them to a daycare or to backup home, whatever you're going to call it, to cover your tracks. Show us that there's no kids there, because there is kids there. My daughter is there. That's why you don't want me there. That's why you don't want to answer my calls about my daughters. You don't want me to see my daughters unless I go to Neutral Corner. Close down Neutral Corner. Defund it. U.S. Department of Justice, if you're really caring about the justice of the people, you're going to start closing down every single corporation that has to do with CYFD, including Para los Niños, because they lied about my daughters being sexually abused. And I'm sure they've lied about several other children, just like All Faiths Children Advocacy has lied. Close them down. Defund them. Defund Safe House. Defund DVRC. CVRC. Defund them. Close down Child Support Enforcement Bureau, because you know that money does not go to the children. It goes to the people that you send it to, like my ex-husband. Well, I call him my ex. We've been separated for 5 years, and I still haven't gotten my divorce no matter what I've filed in court. They just don't want to give me my divorce. They don't want me to move on with my life. They didn't want me with David Chavez. Now they don't want me with Carl Broomfield. They don't want me with nobody. But they want my children. And that's not going to happen. And I encourage all parents, get on my page, go through my posts, ask me some questions. But remember your rights as a mother, as a father. And do not agree to a guardianship, because it can be revoked. An adoption can be revoked. You can't adopt a child that didn't consent to being adopted. And especially for money. Because what's going to happen when that money's gone? You still going to love that kid? You still going to welcome him or her into your home if they have a baby? If it's a man, or if it's a teenage boy, he gets a girl pregnant, you still going to tell him, come home, let's help you? Let's help you raise your son or your daughter. I want to see more people who adopt kids do that. So today is Wednesday, and I'm just wondering if CYFD is actually taking my daughters to school, or if they've been taken to school at all, or I'm gonna have another meeting where they're gonna tell me that my daughters have not went to school in 60 plus days like they did last time, but they expect me to support my daughters without seeing them. And there's so many reasons why we want this agency completely defunded and closed down, and why I keep on telling the public, defund CYFD.